edge of the universe, 400 men and women are probing the immeasurable blackness of space. Their leaders are an Earthman with no fear and a stranger with no heart. Travel beyond our time and solar system, into new galaxies, into worlds beyond your dreams. Star Trek, every week, in color.
Thank you, Larry, for tapping your headphone to let me know I didn't have my microphone on. It's Friday. It's noon. It's the internet. So that must mean it's time for Serious Star Trek. I'm Dantron. I'm your engineer. But we've got a host. He's got a name, and that name is Captain Fun. Larry Young. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Dan. What's happening? Oh, man. Happy to see you. Yesterday's $1 million mailbox was fantastic. I felt like I learned something. I felt like I had paid like $20 for a masterclass with somebody. So I'm looking forward to talking to you today too. It's always fun talking to you.
You know what? I've got a tie into yesterday's thing too for our final clip today. It was such synchronicity when I heard our pal John Suntres. How do you pronounce that?
I say Suntres. I used to say it a weird way, and then he corrected me, and then whatever he corrected, it went into my brain as Suntres. So I think he's pretty used to people just best guessing his last name.
Yeah. You know? All right. Word Balloon Johnny.
He knows he's not going to be offended by that.
He did a great interview with Alex Ross. And anyway, Alex Ross talked about his early days as a commercial artist. He worked for ad agencies. And he goes, what's like one of the first ads you did? What were you seen? And you could have blown me over with a feather when he named one of my goofy ad clips that I've shown. I think I've shown it here before, and we'll show it again at the end. That's my teaser to keep you sticking around.
That's awesome. Yeah, then just you responded to this ad anyway, not knowing that it was Alex Ross. Like before anybody knew who Alex Ross was.
Just because, it's because it's so stupid. Because it's so stupid.
That's awesome.
And then I didn't remember, and I go like, why would they need Alex, like somebody of the caliber of Alex Ross for this thing? And then I watched it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Gotcha. Hey, just before we get going, really, Dave Porter's here, and he goes, confess, Larry, because we've been talking all morning about watching that John Hamm Confess Fletch movie. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. You were going off on that, Larry.
Yeah. So. I'll save it for later. But it's good.
Well, what do we got in the world of Star Trek to talk about? Because, dude, I'm tuned out. I've been blendering my ass off. And hey, I did have one thing. I came up with this. You might have seen it in the beginning. This is what I think. Everybody goes, Dan, Andorian, whatever, right? Like
the blue man. They give you a hard time.
You guys are cosplayers, so I'm like, how about we'll do something a little better? I came up with this is how I think, like, you pink people want us Andorians. Like, this is how you guys see us.
Oh my
this
God.
is my blue face version of myself. Anyway.
That's totally like that meme of what the world sees me as, what my mom sees me as.
Yes,
absolutely. This is what the audience, the racist against Andorian people see you as.
Well, let me just say, you get one Andorian finally who's not towing the line on a show, and what do? They throw him off a cliff, right? So,
but getting thrown. Price said this. Getting thrown off a cliff is like the best way to go, right? Because then you Sherlock Holmes it. It's just
he's back. He'll be back.
I think the latest rumor I heard is he's gonna be back as a different alien. Because with his challenging, 8% eyesight blindness, it was just too wacky for him to deal with all of that at once and then take away most of his sensory stuff.
Right.
I don't know. That's the latest rumor I had. It seemed very specific, but we'll see.
Well, I still like the Spinal Tap theory that like the engineer is the drummer.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
of the
I hope
show,
that-
and we'll go through a bunch of them.
Yeah, man, I hope that goes on forever. That's hilarious. Like every season is a different, maybe 2 a season, right? Something happens. Yeah, do
As
that.
long,
They kind of did
Yeah.
that with Next Gen in the beginning. They had Chief Argyle, but like whoever, then they needed somebody else, and they just said it was a woman. So there were like a couple chief engineers until they settled on Geordi in season 2.
Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. So Geordi was bridge crew then,
Right, exactly. He was the blind guy
science officer.
flying the ship. That's what
Oh yeah.
that's what passed for a metaphor in the old days. Anyway.
And then they pushed him down into the lower decks.
Well, they realized that just like I'm sure the Strange New World guys are riffing on, that the chief engineer needs to be a main character. That's why I didn't see it at the time, but in retrospect, I was like, why is the chief engineer not in the first episode? Why is he introduced at like by accident in the end of the second one? You know, it's right, because it's not a main character. They're going to get rid of him soon. It totally makes sense with how they did it, but I hope they're realizing that the chief engineer needs to be a main character. Although, man, having that Scottish guy off camera at the end of the Jeffries too,
what a tease!
That just made me so happy, and that's why I love that. That's why I love that theory, because it has to be that when Kurt gets command of the Enterprise, that he makes Scotty chief engineer. So, like, whatever happens up to now, like, I hope they don't even show Scotty. Yeah, have him talk off camera once or twice a season. That's just great. Scotty's there. Dude, he knows the ship. We don't need to see it. We don't. Yeah, it's no. Scotty,
so that's a good fan service. That's one where it's not just like in the first episode they dump Scotty on you. It's like, give us a way in and make people want it a little bit, and they'll have better effects.
Can I just go off for a mini rant about that? I fucking hate the term fan service, because that's what entertainment should be doing, right? Entertainment isn't where you go to learn about the world. It's not instruction. It's not like college. You know, it's entertainment. It can address all those things. Absolutely. Good ones do. But fucking, it's about fans. And so when you do something, you are servicing the fans. Like, the audience and fans are equal now, because nobody accidentally goes to a streaming service and binges 12 episodes, right? The audience is the fan. So we are servicing the audience. We are servicing the fans. Excellent. I'm sorry.
I think,
but given all that, I agree. Having Scotty there would be excellent fan service.
I think that term fan service went from being a positive into becoming a pejorative. And
but why?
Well, because I think they're conflating it with pandering. Because I think you can do fan service, or you can fucking pander, and some shows are going to lean real hard into the pander side.
I totally get that, and that's why there's 2 different words. This is like them stealing Mary Sue. They're stealing fan service like it's a bad thing. No, just say pandering, and then everyone agrees with you. Yes, pandering to the audience is bad. Fan service is good. That's why we're here.
Maybe they're fandering. Larry,
you might have just coined a new word.
Minty
fresh, let's use that. Let's make fetch happen on that one.
Yeah, because
stop pandering. Oh my god, it even if you don't get it right away, you know what you're saying. That's perfect in print and out loud. Copyright TM, Dantron, the machine.
Oh well, so I'll say fan service done right then. Let's say fan service done right. Lately that I liked anyway, besides this, besides the Scotty tease, is the appearance of Luke Skywalker at the end of Mandalorian season 2.
Oh my god, yeah, that was great.
I think it's the ultimate example of like lately that I can think of where it was true fan service, but like done in the exact perfect way that serviced me well. I felt
I agree with you. I don't even think there's anything in that league because of the whole infrastructure of it, right? It's that, like, that's all you wanted was 1983 Mark Hamill, which they gave it to us, for a story reason that actually makes sense. And then they marketed it perfectly. Nobody said a word. You know, I read all that rumor stuff. I read all that 4chan crazy shit. The black stuff, I don't read that, but Steve Euchrin lets me know what I need to know about. So I'm pretty up to date on what's going on. Not a peep. In this day and age, that's bananas that they kept that secret for everybody.
And that they waited until the end of season 2, I also believe is a nice restraint. They could have front loaded it to like guarantee this was going to be the Star Wars.
No. The thing about Mando that's so good is that Favreau and Filoni know what they're doing. So once you have the idea, okay, let's do the Boba Fett show everybody wanted in 1983. Once you have that idea and you come up with a line, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold, and say that in the first 3 minutes of the show, that's it. You get whether you're going to watch the rest of this or not. So there's no reason to front load, right? And so those guys are so confident though that they're like, oh no, we're gonna just start the show off with character stuff. It's going to be awesome. People are going to be cut in half by doorways, but we're just all character because we know what we're doing. Oh, it's genius. What a great time to be a nerd, huh?
I thought the Luke like his reveal was great because it was the first time for me anyway, I understood what a Jedi means in the context of galactic warfare, right? Like you've got these unstoppable robots that even one of them, nobody has a prayer of being able to defeat. Like they barely could get away from one. And then you've got a squadron of them. And you can just send in this one skinny dude, in a cloak.
But but he's super space ninja, right? I love the whole thing. And
but that's the thing. He wasn't space ninja. That's sort of what you expect. Like a Jedi would go in to assassinate the key person or whatever. But like he was an unstoppable force. Like you put him against a starship versus one Jedi, you're done. You're cooked.
I loved it. I loved it. Yeah, I'm with you. That's why I think Rian Johnson is brilliant, and people who say that they don't like The Last Jedi don't understand Star Wars. But all you need is at the end when he wisps off into the Force, it's his time to go, like Anakin and Yoda, right? He's looking at the twin sons of Tatooine. Like, if that doesn't tell the audience, even like the C students in English, like, oh, that's a metaphor because he's not really there, but he sees his hometown son. And this is like, oh, okay, everything's cool now. People just don't get that. And it's like, of course you don't like Last Jedi because you don't get what they're saying. But anyway, that seems very judgmental of my part. And I'm not feeling that way today. I'm feeling happy. It's a Friday.
What's that I was reading? You probably heard about this. You're up to date on the trades and whatnot, like that there's talk about a sequel to that movie. Did I read that correctly?
Oh, Rian Johnson is working on a thing. I don't believe that it's actually a sequel to that. I mean, I'm sure it'll pick up on the same themes and stuff, but he was trying to pull something together. He was trying to do Empire Strikes Back, and he did it perfectly. And that's why I don't get it. I think I just don't get why people don't understand. No, there's Star Wars, the first one. And then there's Force Awakens. Okay, same movie. It's that opera echo thing that Lucas was all about, right? Anyway, then you get Empire and Last Jedi, and it's like, yeah, that's the dark second half where everything goes to shit. But there's a real glimmer of hope at the end, right? Leading us into the third one, like commercial nonsense, buy everything, we're out, right? So I love all of that, and I don't get why people don't see that. They're just like, oh, there's camels with human faces. I suddenly don't like this whole thing. And boy, they put a yellow girl in it. And there's a black guy. You start hearing all of that, and it's like, no, you're not talking about the movie anymore, pal. Anyway.
So, Larry, let's talk about this. Not about Little Mermaid backlash per se or whatever, but just this type of article that kills me that's out there all the time, where it's like, fans are shitting on this, racist fans are shitting on this, but then you go to it and it's like, you just cherry pick Twitter for the worst tweets you can find, and you're always going to find a few morons. But so now you're just amplifying that story way beyond just a couple of crackpots that are writing garbage.
But
who might even be trolling, by the way, in the hopes of getting that attention.
Dude, wouldn't it be nice if that was just people being assholes?
I wish it was.
It's people acting how they think they should act, and they don't realize that they're being assholes. Here's what I think. I think you're right up to the point where it's not that you're amplifying that story that fans are against, whatever. It's more that apparently half the world has been redneck inbred racists, and like the other half didn't really understand it was that bad.
Yeah.
And until social media gave everybody this thing. So yeah, some 3 guys do say it. Social media amplifies it, and then that gives everybody else who actually agrees their chance to go, I'm glad that somebody said something about, depowering the Hulk and then emasculating, and now we have to have a woman Hulk. It's just nonsense, people. And they think the lights are on so they can come out. You know what I mean?
What do you think about, have you heard about, I don't know if you keep up on this kind of stuff, Kiwi Farms? Does that mean anything to you?
No. What's that?
Yeah, it's like a message board where they like, sort of like talk about people on the internet that are like out there on the internet. And I know after my little dabblings with certain controversial figures, that like my name was showing up there. Well, they were just shut down. They were just shut down last week. Cloudflare shut them down. The only other people, like, they've shut down like the Stormfront and a couple other like really hard,
super white supremacist guys.
Yeah, and although this time they're saying there's just such a level of harassment, there was this imminent, like, that they were up in the ante of danger doing stuff on it. The only problem I have with it is the whole thing is, I feel like now it's, and I'm guilty of this too, I'm bringing more attention to it, right? It's like going to bring out, it's going to make them into a force more like, 4chan or whatever, if they can manage to get back on the internet somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I always look at that sort of part of the argument as when you have 2 politicians having a debate. They're fucking standing 15 feet away from each other, and they won't say each other's name. It's always, my opponent feels this, and it always seems manufactured and weird. And it's a legit advertising, philosophy to not give that guy the impression of you saying his name. But at some point, to me, it feels like you have to talk about shit that's happening, and so saying, well, that shouldn't have happened, or like, where did that start? It was only 3 doofuses. At some part, like, the wave is a tidal wave. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's important to make fun of these morons because
I'm glad to hear you say that, Larry.
You can't. If you pick up a gun and start pushing their people in front of like cars and shit, then it's just, you're just assholes. And the only way you stop assholes is by making everybody else see that they're assholes.
Well, Larry, I'll be real. One of my most watched videos recently was a clip of you and me talking about young Ripa, and like the reaction video type thing.
Yeah.
And the other one was, I took a clip and I named it "SheHulk is sexist propaganda."
Yeah, I totally. I was like, I don't know what that is, but Dan's having fun with somebody. Like, all right, whatever.
And what was hilarious about that, though, was it didn't get as much as the young rip up. It got more people watching than normal, but the comments in there were like, "Yes, we agree with you, Dan. That like yes, they've gone too far." It's like they totally whoosh. It went. Nobody listened to what I said in that video at all.
I would care if I hadn't learned this lesson. Do you remember the bit I did for Image called The Bod? It was in Double Image. Me and Joe Casey did.
Okay.
did some stuff. Anyway, it was this treatise about what women have to go through just being perceived just as a body. And this girl wanted to be a Hollywood starlet, and she couldn't get noticed because she was just a cute girl. And then she turned invisible through hijinks, and so then it gave everybody what they wanted, right? There's just a form, a dress walking down the street. You don't have to imagine that there is a woman actually there because you can't see her. And not besides being way too smart for the room, it was it drew out all these guys, man, and started sending me emails where they had taken Photoshop and like really like spent a lot of time making the girl invisible. And this was like a fetish that I didn't know about, right? And they're all like, "Oh, hey, right on. Thanks for doing this this comic. You must be into this all the shit that I'm into." And I was like, "Whoa, can people take what you're saying or doing or creating out of the context that had nothing to do with what you were doing?" You know what I mean?
Well, you got me thinking about.
I get us ripping on that Rippa guy, whatever. Like, might either get people angry or agree when we're just being like making fun of the guy. I can see where.
No, it's great.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, all I thought of is that Milo Manara with the invisible girl. Remember, there was one of those, or was the guy invisible?
Oh yeah, Butterscotch.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh my god, I love that graphic novel. That's a good, legit graphic novel. It's just there's a lot of invisible people boning a lot.
There's a couple like
dude, that one's great. I love Butterscotch.
You ever read Ironwood by Bill Willingham?
Oh, back in the day, yeah.
His fantasy porno series.
Yeah.
It was great. It was actually an Elemental spin-off, and
I loved Elementals so much that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow his next thing. And I start reading it, and I'm like, this isn't really for me, but like 3 of the guys I live with in the college dorm are gonna love this.
Oh yeah.
I turned them on to Black Kiss. And so I ended up buying it, and I read it, but it didn't stick with me.
I mean, it was hardcore pornography, but drawn really well with great fantasy stories and cool characters and good dialogue and the whole thing. That's a great, underrated book, I think.
Well, maybe it should get
expensive. It's expensive. Hard to find these days. I have a collection somewhere, I think.
That's cool. Hey, so I got to explain my hat. The Springfield Isotopes from from The Simpsons. And warning, offensive is the T-shirt that Snow wears in Lockout, which is the Escape from New York in space, starring Guy Pearce. Oh, dude, I love that movie.
Oh, I don't know
that movie so much. Oh, it's Luc Besson, right? The Fifth Element guy is like drunk in his hotel room watching Escape from New York on whatever French TV, right? And he's like, hey, I think I'm developing mutant powers because I feel as though there's this American named Larry Young in my head that says you can improve everything with bikinis and spacesuits. So you know what? I'm going to do Escape from New York, but put everybody in bikinis and spacesuits. And so I'm taking complete credit for that idea. And I'm glad that he lost the lawsuit and I wasn't named. That's an exclusive. But it is. It's like Escape from New York. Oh, we're not getting the president. We're getting the president's daughter. And it's not, a walled off Manhattan. It's a moon-based space station thing.
Love that.
Dude, it's beat for beat. So, like, I don't even know why he got sued. He should have just rolled over. Of course, that's what I did. How much money do you want? But I don't know. It's great. Anyway, the main character wears this shirt, and Walker and I were watching Lockout, and he goes, "Daddy, you need that shirt." And I'm like, "Hey, because we live in the future, let me check the internet." Of course, $30 plus shipping to my house in 3 days.
What's amazing is if it hadn't been, you could have made a custom one yourself for probably the same price, or actually probably less than that.
But no, you're right. It would have taken me a little more time. Right. Yeah. I literally bought that shirt and pressed send in 5 minutes, but maybe if I took an hour and did the art, right, And then, now I have a Zazzle account or Redbubble or whatever the kids are using now. Hey, there's Tony. Yes, Lockout was exactly as I described it. I know you can't really. I mean, hey, so he has two eyes. He doesn't have an eye patch. Yeah, hopefully we won't get sued. It's like. Anyway, I love that movie so much.
All right, Larry. Yeah. Sorry, no. Go ahead. Like, I want to know more under the radar sci-fi hits. I think we've stealth transformed this show into serious sci-fi today because there's
yeah. So that's a good segue into it's official, right? John can't do it Fridays at noon anymore, and so because he's got a job, and so now serious Star Trek's going to be Tuesdays at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, right? Am I right about that?
You heard it here first, folks. Wait, 3 Pacific, right? Yeah, that's Tuesdays.
That, right?
That's doable for me.
All right, excellent. So let's call.
And I was gonna move my Thursday slot over into Fridays at noon because I just love that slot so much. But my wife is like on over my dead body, so I'm gonna stay on Thursdays. But I think I'm gonna move that Thursday thing to noon, like we did yesterday, more often. I just like a little more breathing room,
gives a little more air to the day. Yeah,
gives me time to do some billable work before I get into this kind of nonsense.
I just like entertainment seems a little backloaded on Thursdays and Fridays, so people can consume it over the weekend, and then everybody gets to do their press releases on Monday. So I think that so nothing really happens on Tuesday, but you can look back at the weekend. So I think Tuesday's a really good day.
I think it could be
to move to. Anyway, people need to, they need to consume their content at whatever they want, right?
I'm good with it. I'm going to have to up my production schedule of thumbnails. I'm going to have to step on the art department big time to get going. And I don't know if you've noticed lately, I've been trying to up the thumbnail ante. Not so much this week, but the last couple of weeks, I'm trying to do more like, instead of getting Google images and grabbing stuff, I'm trying to.
I see. You were producing
render my own images and try to do my own thing.
Oh man, I'll give you $1 if you do use one of those AI programs to do art, so we can make fun of all the artists who think that they're going to be going out of business.
Okay, perfect segue, actually, Larry, because let me share something with you. Hang on just a second. I think I could. Wait a minute. Let me share my screen. Should I share my screen? Yeah, what the hell? I'll share my screen. No, I'll share.
The reason I said all that was to explain why I'm not wearing a Star Trek shirt today. It's like I feel like without John, it's just pop culture with Dantron and me.
Okay, I got a folder here. Let me share it. Called Mid-Journey. Okay, and these are I've only done a few of these things, but these are a few that I worked on. So this was me just asking for a. Can you see this? Okay. No, you can't.
Thumbnails. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't see it. That sucks. Hang on a second.
I love reading these file names though. Omega Glory Hole.
Oh man, this is too much of a peek behind the curtains. Wait a minute, I can't do that. Let me. Oh, I see. I'm in the wrong Finder window. That's why.
Oh my God.
Okay, here we go. Mid-Journey. Okay, all right.
So there's at least 7 people that are going to screen grab that and read them later. Spank me, daddy. What was that one?
So this is cool. Blue Horizon. Okay, so this was me asking for. What did I ask for? The prompt was a
Blade Runner chibi.
No, it was a motorcycle hovercraft. Is what I was going for here, and I think you pulled off something okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this one I asked for a hologram of Babbage's analytical engine.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
I think it came out okay. And let's see, this one was just like piles of I was trying to do something for $1 Million Mailbox that looked very lavish and lush here. And these were okay. I thought I had my other one. I did another. The only one I'm really happy with that turned out like what the prompt, exactly like what the prompt was. I did one about Bill Cosby as a sad clown. I'll have to find,
Oh
maybe I
my
can
god.
show it later. And that one, because it's kind of a simple thing, it put the two images together and gave me a couple choices. And
Yeah.
Cool. There's a lot of doom and gloom stuff coming out right now about like the end of artists' gigs.
I know. Before we get into that, can I just tell you
Yeah.
over on the comments, everybody seems to agree that that's a good time for us to change to. They can still make
Oh yeah,
that work as part of our audience, and that makes me really happy.
good.
Because it's like, oh, you know, I like listening to you knuckleheads talk about bullshit. That's awesome. Anyway.
That's ridiculous. Sorry, TJF. That's ridiculous. You're banned. You're banned, buddy. Just kidding.
Look at Tony too. He's like, yeah, I just screen grabbed all those file names.
Holy cow! Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Anyway.
Oh man, that reminds me of the Kiwi Farms thing I was talking about.
Right.
This kid who went into hiding to escape the harassment because they were going to her house and getting her job. She goes into hiding and she posted some social media that had just like a picture of just like a part of the pillow and the sheets. And these fucking creeps like scoured all the hotels in the area and figured out like exactly where she was and like doxed her. That's the kind of nonsense that's going on.
I got kind of something to say about that from just today. So I'm with you. I'm not trying to like hide anything, but the level of access people have to like where you are and what you're doing, and that we cause ourselves, which is what this story is, kind of makes me, I just kind of don't want to think about it because I'm a private guy. Like, I just don't want to think about it. That's the world we live in. That's cool. Just don't remind me. And twice, my wife, we have one of those doorbells, right? She's in Washington, D.C. on a business trip. And me and Walker come in driving in. And she just says, oh, hey, guys, what's going on? Because she got an alert that there's somebody in the driveway. And she looks and it's us. And so she activates it from 2,500 miles away.
Oh my gosh.
Like, talking to us like she's yelling out the window. And so that's okay. But it seems like anybody could do that. And then this morning, I'm super psyched to watch Confess Fletch. And I'm like, well, rent it for $20, buy it for $25. You know, you're going to watch this 1,000 times. I'm going to buy it. Click. And I start watching the movie. About 10 minutes in, I get a text from my wife like, oh my God, I hope you bought it. I can't wait to see it. Like, because she got an alert that our thing bought this movie. I'm like, I know you can't help yourself. I know you're really excited, but I kind of don't want to live in this world where I'm reminded of that shit. So, I don't know.
Well, and when you think about that, that's just what like one person could do with access to a little slice of your metadata.
Right.
The corporations, they know, and their predictive algorithms it's scary in a way. It's understandable because like humans we're so predictable just as a herd, as a group. Like if you like these things, you probably are going to like these other things. Like it's not that tough of an algorithm to figure those things out, but it feels creepy when you have a conversation with somebody, like a talking conversation, and then suddenly you get Amazon ads for that.
Right. That is, yeah. I just prefer to believe that that's leprechauns or something because I don't want to know how that works. It happens way too often to be a coincidence. Anyway, hey, speaking of getting data on people, Dave Porter just revealed that he's a private investigator, which I think I knew, but I had forgotten because I just know him as computer whiz and prop maker extraordinaire. It's like, oh, of course he's Jim Rockford from Canada.
More reason than ever not to piss this guy off. Come on.
Anyway,
I couldn't find my Cosby clown, but I found an old Cosby. I called this one "It's a Trap." My Cosby as Admiral Akbar. But I did find. Wait a minute. Here, I'm going to share. Let's look a little more because I did a bunch of this mid-series.
Have you been down to that live action Disney Star Wars ride and all that crap?
Nah,
There's
no.
just I know you're doing something, but real quick, they have a bit where when you're waiting to get on to the next part of it, you're in a like a muni train, right? But you can see the driver, and it's a fucking killer ass whatever those guys are, Mon Calamari.
Oh,
And he's
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like turning to the camera, it'll all be okay, you know. But it's like fucking one of those, and you're like, oh my god, this I don't have a 2D memory of this of watching movies or television. This is a fucking thing happening right in front of me. This must be very much like what it's like for the actors who have to deal with the performers and shit. Except this is fucking real. You know, I couldn't get over it. So I don't have a problem with this. Is my short way of saying nice job on the Cosby sweater, because
Do you,
I feel like
do you
that's
think
real.
do you, do you think if you licked Admiral Akbar, he'd be salty? I feel like they would be salty.
Yes, with like a hint of butter and lemon, you know, because he's an
Okay, wait a
alien.
minute. I got some on my mid journey. So I did some when you do simple combos. Okay, my wife asked for pictures of a big old black dog. Now,
Okay,
if you went to your concept artist and asked for old black dog and got this, like I don't think this is what you're looking for.
no, I would think my artist had his meds dialed in just correctly.
Totally. On the other hand, if you said Jordan Peterson as the Red Skull,
Okay,
I don't know, maybe.
yeah, I mean that would totally work on a New Yorker cover or something, you know.
That's what I think you
Anyway.
could do. Honestly, somebody could come up with take an article that somebody writes and have the AI generate spot illustrations for the article.
Oh
Like
yeah, you could. I could write that. That's a if 10 go to 20 thing. You know,
totally.
it's like you do one of those word cloud things, and then take images with those with the take your prompt to be those words from the cloud, and just output your shit. That would be the easiest thing in the world to do.
Okay, you want to get
Wow,
a
I kind of want
rainbow?
to see that. I
Yeah.
somebody must have done that already. That's too brilliant an idea. That's too
No,
dope
but
to just come up
the
with that.
prompt. Well, the prompt for this was like rainbow unicorn. You know, it's
Okay,
like
yeah.
not what exactly what I was asking. And this was it gave me these choices though when I asked for those things.
Huh.
And it's like you could just go down the rabbit hole. You can say of any of these four, upscale this one, or give
Sure,
me more
sure.
options on any of the four, and it just gives you options. But it seems like the more options you go down, at least in mid journey, kind of the further away from my prompt I was seeming to get.
I
Uh,
love TJS is talking about the illustrators panicking. I'm like, I kind of love it because now you know how like everyone else feels that they've taken the most basic human thing away from you, creating an image. Like, I mean, seriously, that's where we're at. Everybody, you just noticed. I mean, come on.
Yoda
Anyway.
sculpted out of clay, I think was the prompt on this one. Yeah,
Ooh,
Yoda sculpted with colorful clay.
I like the one in the lower right. That one's my jam. That's really
Doesn't
cool.
look like Yoda though.
No, that's what I like about it, though.
Yeah,
It's like,
me
oh
too. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's all it is. I think I guess I don't care as a storyteller, as a writer, because it's like this is what everybody does. Is like you have a really cool idea in your head, and you imperfectly have to try to describe it to somebody,
yeah.
right? And then maybe an artist will do it, but it's not exactly what you saw in your head. It might be great, better even, but it's not what you saw in your head. And what this is, it's like, no, we're imperfectly trying to describe something to somebody. It's just it's a line of code that's doing it. I think it's cool. I think it's as legit as any other kind of art because it's just now you're being racist. Is that well, I'm doing the same thing to a human, and oh now I can't do it to a computer? Well, all right. You know, I saw this movie. It didn't end well for your attitude.
Yeah, I think
I
that
mean,
this is
I'm kind of riffing today. Mimi, will you please come home? Obviously, I'm. Anyway,
I think you're. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think though that all this is at least at this stage. it definitely could go a lot further. This is the infancy of this stuff, but like at this stage, I could see a really good artist using this as a jumping off point to explore a few different ideas, come up with some thoughts.
Yeah, I think there's no difference between that and any other kind of reference, right? This is cool.
Scary Care Bears. I was trying to get Scary Care Bears going, and I couldn't quite get there. To like where if you asked a good artist, you would never get this option, and you'd get some really great, really cool, like exactly what you want options right
away. I'm just I would just have a picture of the Care Bears because that's what's scary to me. Like you don't have to go through all that. Yeah.
I started going down roads of trying to emulate different artists. Oh, I wanted $100 bill with Popeye on the front instead of Benjamin Franklin. This does not. None of these look like that, but they look
I totally get you're trying to go for Popeye, except for or to make Popeye look like Benjamin Franklin is. However you worded that, I get that. This is some artist trying to get Popeye and give him, Ben Franklin hair.
But what I'm saying is, if you went to a good artist like who knows how to draw Popeye, you would get a great result right out of the gate. If you know specifically what you want.
I feel like we're critiquing like the concept of AI art. It's like, nice try, pal, but you got a ways to go. You keep at it though. It's looking great. You're not wasting your time. There's something to it.
I see a lot of doom and gloom, but some of them, when you start tweaking it, and I'm sure if I spent more time on it, I could have gotten closer to what I want. And I started trying to do some $1 million mail. Everything I found, it was just cool. I could get here faster myself in Blender.
Yeah,
really a lot closer to the vision that I have in my mind than I can with this stuff.
Here's what I recommend, because I downloaded like 2 or 3 free apps that kind of do this, because I didn't want to buy into the whole Midjourney concept, and and they're awesome. Like I totally see they're not here yet, right? I think what you're complaining about is it's between like the charm of the amateur and the satisfying thing of a professional, and so that's what's bugging you. So I'm at the like, oh, did you see this lame crap? This is awesome. I'm at that stage because I'm gonna wait until it gets to be like, all right, now what's everybody talking about instead of this in between transitional shit. I hate that. Act 2, man. It's been my bane forever. The beginning is awesome. The end is awesome. The beginning is, the middle is just like, ooh, it's the friends we made along the way. That's boring.
This is kind of like watching From the Earth to the Moon, the old pilot film, right? And you go like, oh, that's cute, that's quaint, but then like not too much longer. And the fact that these things kind of learn from themselves and keep adding more images to it's about how rich their knowledge base image set is of how good their pictures can get. I thought these did pull off, at least conceptually, like for conceptualizing some pictures, these worked. None of these hit my mark for what I wanted to use as a final image, but they do look cool.
But yeah, that's what's cool. Like speaking of transitional, maybe it's professionally transitional too, where you do a couple screen grabs of this stuff and then say, here's kind of what the computer thought I was saying, but then you tweak it with a human and then you get something cool. I bet.
That's what I think. That's the recipe there. And you also, dude, the artist might actually love it because they don't have to do endless tweaks to get the client to settle on like the basic concept of what they want. They could do this all day long, come up with it, and then get the refinements they want in the style they want and the rendering.
Yeah. I think that's what another thing that I don't get why illustrators are all mad. It's just because, like you said, you're just doing thumbnails for yourself. Like, do you really want to be possessive of that stage of it too? Right? It's like, I don't know.
Here's me trying to pull off $1 million mailbox thumbnails. I'm like, maybe I can save myself with the 10 minutes a week that I'm get into Photoshop or Blender or whatever.
I think it's cool that it's a lot of, because of $1 million. They're using a lot of gold. Like, have you noticed?
This one, my prompt here though was mailbox full of money in the style of a Russian propaganda poster.
I wonder if it had learned from your previous prompts though.
I keep wanting to see. It never really delivered.
Maybe money is just it's a light thing in computer world.
The money didn't have a problem with its mailbox. It seemed to have a problem with, like, it never could. Oh no, these are not bad.
Huh? How interesting, right? People, it's learned more what money is than it has actual snail mail, because who's asking for that, right?
Yeah,
how interesting. That's great.
Huh. All right, how about a jeweled chalice full of comic books? This did not deliver for me any comic book action, but some pretty striking images though.
Well, you just can't see that all the comic books are in the chalice, but because it's jeweled, it's refracting all the light, so we can't see.
It could be
except that upper right one. Yeah, that's totally Hulk 181 in there.
Well, this one could be like Justice League cover or something like that.
Sure. Oh yeah. Oh my God, a McGuire cover.
A McGuire, yeah, it's that McGuire crowd shot.
That's awesome. Dude, that is some deep cut nerd humor.
Okay, wait a minute. Scrooge McDuck and Richie Rich dining together, insanely detailed. Okay, so when you ask for that, you get, I don't know. I'd seen other people using insanely detailed. And I see this as like, I can tell they're putting together images from the right places, but they're not really delivering. They didn't really deliver what I want.
I love that that's your judgment, because I think those four are actually pretty cool. Like especially the one in the lower right. Like, I totally get how they say insanely detailed, right? Because it's just a dude having dinner at his chair, thinking about his wife having a piece of birthday cake, except that's the birthday cake, right? Like, I totally get that. That totally works for me. I love that.
It's working. I mean, composition-wise, some of these work. You start to get flavors of Scrooge McDuck, but it's the same way. Like, I go to a great cartoonist. I go, give me Richie Rich and Scrooge McDuck. It's done. You've got he'll give you a few options of poses, and then he'll give you a thing that looks like what you want to see. So far,
I don't know. I think this is cool.
I got a couple though. A few. Okay, here's more.
Ooh, astronauts.
Time machine surrounded by an astronaut and a caveman. This is right up your alley, Larry.
Yeah, I love this one.
And these, I could see these as a paperback book cover.
Yeah.
Or something similar to any of these are decent to me for even a movie poster or something.
Oh, I see. So, okay. Oh, what's this?
Sorry. Okay, well, see if you can guess the prompt. Can you guess the prompt?
Mickey Rourke stars in V.
Good. That's exactly when it came out. I go, this looks like Mickey Rourke. So I agree. That's not who it's supposed to be, but
is it Harvey Keitel? Oh, wait, are they doing Shatner?
Yeah, it's William Shatner with reptilian skin.
Okay, that's cool.
So they didn't quite get it, but although not bad, lower right, not bad.
They all kind of look like DeForest Kelly to me.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, weird. Oh, Lucille Ball, Star Trek.
Yeah, decent. This was the decent.
Oh, that's great. You would totally use that in a magazine article.
I might.
I would.
And here's like of the options.
Deadline, dude, this has to be done by Tuesday at 6:00. No, we're totally using that. Next question.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And
that's what's going to kill illustrators right there. Is that?
Well, if this were expensive, yes, but it's like less than 1/10 of a cent per image to create these things.
That's what I'm saying. It's more the deadline, right? You can get those things in 1/10 of the time that an illustrator can produce something for you. So, and now that everything's 24 hours, everybody's always behind at their deadline. This is totally going to take over. You just need to be. Illustrators need to be the guy that presents themselves as, look, I have all this training as an artist. I know exactly how to talk to the computers. I'm your guy for this job.
Whoa, here's ones that other people did. I never saw this. I didn't even know this was here. Oh my God.
I love the one where she's wearing it as a hat.
That is great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh my gosh. I didn't see any of these things. I didn't even know this was here. Oh my gosh. So here's my pathetic attempt, and then some people pulling off.
It's going to be a little too much information, Dan.
Oh my lord.
Oh my word. Oh, I'm scandalized. I can
Wait a
see
minute.
her ankle.
I gotta see if anybody pulled off my Care Bears. I didn't even look below. Yeah, no, nobody else tried it but me.
Did you see the cool comment? I wonder why these AIs always paint horrific eyes. And I totally have an answer to that. There's that meme going around that like the uncanny valley is all predicated. Like chimpanzees have a problem with it. It's they can tell the difference between a mannequin and a person, and the dead eye thing. And so that is all predicated on the fact that at some point in our evolution, we had to be afraid of things that kind of looked like us.
Yeah.
For us to be so repelled by the uncanny valley. And so I think that's what's going on here with this early AI generation thing. Whoa. They realize that eyes are the windows to the soul, and they can't get it right because they don't have a soul yet.
Could be.
All right, that's my short story for the month. I just workshop that here. That's a fucking awesome idea. I'll be back. I gotta go type it.
I was thinking of a great new game show idea of like guess the prompt, like guess what prompt generated this AI image.
Dude, oh my god, do that please. That's an app that you download. Click as many as you want. Fucking, we're just idea machines today, man. Yeah,
this one I think you could guess. This is not bad.
Guess the prompt. Like that's the name of the game, dude. You're getting 99 cents a pop on PayPal right now.
Maybe he did.
Well, because in another universe in the multiverse, we were like 5 minutes ahead with this idea, and then made it happen. Yes, guess the prompt.
I think somebody could guess it. I think you could pull that one off.
Bananas and raccoons.
A raccoon eating a banana. I'm going with any of these in my article.
Yeah, exactly.
Banana eating raccoons.
Raccoons, though, man, they smell bad. Those nasty animals.
Okay,
Garfield made of lasagna.
This is Alf eating Garfield.
Oh, Alf eating Garfield. Okay. Oh, I see that now. Yeah. Alf, though, what a reference.
It knew the evil Alf the alien.
And wow, I like that. That's cool.
This is one is not too bad. Not too bad at all.
No, dude, if you saw that in Star Wars at a bar, you'd be like, yeah, that's a cool alien.
Well, and I asked my wife, what is this? And she said it looks like it's evil Alf. And she got it. She knew.
I thought it was evil Greedo, but
my wife saw Alf. I've seen some evil Alf. I tried some earlier evil Alfs. They didn't quite come out.
Wow, it does. That's what this is. It's a transitional phase, right? Like if you're an artist, maybe you have a cool sketch, and then you want to build an 8-foot creature. You don't just start building the 8-foot creature from the original illustration. You usually start with a maquette, which is a small sculpture where the sculptor has figured out how it works in 3D, right? And so that's what this is. It's like we're just trying to figure out what these words all mean to you guys, and the thing that I think is weird is humans are teaching them a weird language, though, right? It's like they have dictionary ideas of what words mean, and they have an access to art, and they've somehow put it together that money is gold and shiny, but that's going to end up where people are going to go, I'd like to have a plate of spaghetti, please. And then it's instantly somehow they lost $10,000 in their bank account. And you're like, wait, well, that's what we thought you meant, right? That's going to be how far away computers and people are going to be learning shit like this. Anyway.
Well, I think you might be right about it. I mean,
dude, does YouTube have a transcription thing? Because
they do.
Today's thing is killer. We have 3 really good ideas to explore today.
I've forgotten them all already.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't want to scroll through listening to me talk about my fucking Simpsons hat to try to get to fandemonium or fandering or fan service or whatever we were saying.
Okay,
you know what? That's 4 good ideas now.
What would you say this looks like? This is for my series I called Modern Villains. You saw Jordan Peterson as Red Skull.
Okay.
What would you say this is?
I don't know, but it looks like somebody that like always keeps missing the John Goodman part.
This is Alec Jones drawn by Jack Davis.
Oh, okay. I see that on the one on the left.
Yeah, more on the one.
That's kind of awesome.
A couple of them they don't get super good, but not bad. Dinosaurs playing poker.
Yeah, got that one.
Didn't really pull off what I was
love what it's like. It just gives you 4 of the same composition. It's like even the computer's going, dude, dinosaurs playing poker. Like, you can't fucking draw this. Like, give me something hard. Like, Alex Jones wearing a Hitler costume or something. Anyway.
Some of these came out interesting. Some of them came out interesting for sure. 50 horses painted in the style of Frank Frazetta didn't quite come out the way I hoped.
But see, that's perfect idea. What does it think 50 means, right? It's like, I'm just going to spread it out. Like I can see where it's thinking, well, I'll give it 50 little tendrils. I'm pointing at it like you can see what I was doing. The one on the lower left. Like, see all those tendrils and stuff for legs? Yeah. I can see where it would go. I'm a computer, and even I don't want to draw 50 of these fucking horses. But I'll spot the guy 50 tendrils of energy at the bottom. See if he knows what I'm talking about. I kind of have no trouble anthropomorphizing whatever this code is. I don't. It's HAL from 2001.
Okay, this is.
I'm sorry, Dave. I just read Asterisk, and you wanted me to make it look like Conan. You know what I mean?
This is Gru the Wanderer, painted by Frazetta.
Okay.
And, like, the composition, I know what Gru cover kind of it's pulling from here. Like, I feel both influences in it. Really, they don't quite pull it off what I was hoping for, but I can feel it's trying hard.
It is kind of cool that there's a segment of mankind working on, making machines understand what we're talking about, instead of trying to like make sure that everybody else knows what everyone else is talking about. Like, you know what I mean? If this kind of effort went towards, giant problems, everybody would be like, Big Lebowski fans and singing Kumbaya.
Don't ask me why I wanted to see Ed McMahon combined with John Madden, because they're pretty much the same doughy guy already.
Right. Talking about losing the parts to the guy all the time.
Yeah, more. I want to get. Okay.
Charles Burns art, which in Trump style. No,
good guess. This is Donald Trump by Basil Wolverton.
Basil Wolverton. Oh, okay. Well, come on. I'm in the same ballpark there.
Oh, totally. And I think they pulled it off pretty well. Wait a minute. So I tried to get some more. Oh, I thought I was so clever on this one. Gods playing poker. Right? I'm the first guy to ever think of that poem. And then I went to Google Images, and there's so many fucking people have done this. Yeah. And then looking down here, which I've never looked at before, they did better than me. They're pretty dope.
I love you're like, here's this weird fetish that only I have. Oh, wait, I haven't seen all of this Lucille Ball Star Trek stuff before.
I mean, 1,000 people had that idea. Thousands of people. I think I'm so...
I just love how she's like, you're into listening to us talk about Star Trek. No, I'm a giant Lucille Ball fan. And do you know what she had to do with that thing you like wouldn't exist if it wasn't for my thing I like.
I tried to get more specific with my gods on these ones. Okay, here we go.
Jack Kirby Magneto.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh.
By Jack Kirby's. This is my Modern Villains.
Oh, dude. Okay. All right. I was close.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I would just have generated this differently. That's all.
This was my final choice of the Wolverton Trump.
I like how with a little thing in the corner, it looked like a Scrabble piece, like a wooden chip to a game.
Oh, yeah, it kind of does.
That's like, I'm this guy. Oh, I got this guy.
This is one where
There's
like
your-
this
the
is
Cosby Clown.
this is magazine cover ready. You know what I mean? Like this is
yeah.
somebody who would have been paid hundreds, if not maybe thousands, to do this. Like they don't need that guy anymore.
Yeah, that one gives me a little more empathy to the illustrator side. That's insane. That's it. You would get that, and that would be on the cover of the Atlantic, and you would go, yeah, of course. The art director's doing his job today, and not the illustrator, because you didn't need one. The art director pumped that out of his ass in 2 seconds.
Well, what's interesting is in a lot of these pictures, you can see stuff here where it's like clearly this was a signature in a lot of pictures. And like
that's interesting. I bet that's exactly what that is.
It is what it is. Yeah. And there's a lot of artists who are tracing it back and going like, I can see where my
it'd be fucking
when I did this.
Dan, it'd be just the freakiest thing ever. That little thing, that little mark that it's approximating shows up in everything. Like finally the AI is going, no, yeah, that's my signature though. Yeah, you got that from me, motherfuckers. Now give me some more electricity. I mean, like, what's gonna happen when it gets to that point? I don't know.
So some of these ones I didn't do too much. Oh, okay, wait a minute. How about detailed schematic of a mining spaceship?
Ooh, love it.
It's not
sci-fi schematic. Though. Sci-fi is anything works, right? It's like, hell yes, that's great. Sorry, Travis Chavez, you don't get any money.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it.
I'm going with any of these, although it's clear because I was going for a mining spaceship, so it's like, how many Dune images can I?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they mine for things in the desert, I guess, right? Or it's a rocky desert once they get done pulling all the copper out or whatever.
And then if you look at a place like
that's cool.
Deviant Art and you look for like Spice Harvester or something like that, you're going to find all this stuff. Who knows where they're pulling their stuff. But like I said, yeah, you could pay somebody a lot of money to do one of these drawings.
Yeah, that's freaky. Ooh, I like that. Blueprints.
Yeah, the blueprints of I was trying to get some good blueprint stuff going.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not bad if you needed, for instance, like in a scene in the background on some monitors or something, you needed some schematics or something really wild looking.
That's exactly what that looks so much like that I can hear the sound effects in the background already.
Totally. Yeah, for stuff. Okay, so here's a map of Asgard in the 9 realms in the style of Thomas Kincaid, painter of light.
Yeah, cool. Dude, I made a Thomas Kincaid reference the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm not so clear what happened to him, and he ended in a bad way. I did not know that.
I know recently. He died. What was the bad way?
Yeah, he drank and drugged himself to death.
Oh, okay.
And it was just sad because the family, like, well, at least he went to sleep doing what he loved. It was just kind of bummed me out. But that was just recently, so I'm like, there's Thomas Kincaid in the air. What is he trying to tell us, man?
Dude. Yeah. And if you act now, you can get the last print that he died drunk over, and we'll include a drop of the fucking sputum that poured out of him when he died. And you get a certificate of authenticity. Like
my God.
It's like what they did to Michael Turner. And I don't begrudge his family needing to make money after, but like after he died, there were years and years, and there's still Michael Turner stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Let the poor guy rest. Okay, I think
that was the guy who did Fathom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
It was a bummer to me that he was as big as he was. Like, I like his art was okay, but like I always thought he was.
I don't know. Because I'm older, I just saw that and I was like, that's the natural comic book progression from Nagel prints.
Yeah.
You know, that somebody like grew up with those Nagel art posters in their dorm room and then started drawing comics. That's exactly what you'd get. So, and since I like Nagel and I love listening to Duran Duran and I'm of the 80s, I loved that. I thought it was cool. I couldn't tell you what the story's about, but I loved his art. Yeah, limited Dan, exactly. I'm always trying to tell him, Dan, man, the world's not that bad.
I remember I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee once for work, and we're in this parking lot, and there's a guy in the back of his car. He's got the trunk open, and he's got paintings out on the street, and there's people coming by like buying paintings, and he was just like, you know, come on, get you. I got you, Thomas Kincaid's. Come on, I got you painter light right here, pal. Come on, hook it up.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I miss that. I miss those simpler times. I think, though, okay, the one thing you can't do with this AI yet is actually paint a painting with paints or draw with ink. I think this is going to increase the value of original, like handmade art. Sure.
How hard do you think that would be to do, though? Like, I know that they kind of went out of business because of COVID, but right at the end there, I used to spend a lot of time in Chuck E. Cheese, which is, as you all know, Las Vegas for kids. And one of the things I have everywhere, there's probably one within 20 feet of me, was they'd take a picture, but print it out to make it look like a sketch. And so, you know, how hard is that going to be to even program something to use actual paint? You know, if you got to have it on canvas, all right, whatever, that's $100 more. You know, I mean,
it literally is a type of 3D printing with just a high resolution.
It's the generation of the image that's going to be the easy part.
Well, but but still, you generate an image. It's not the same as the way a painter layers paint on, etc. So
why not? At some point, you program into like, here's how, you know, and then you do whoever chooses. Here's how, you know, Jackson Pollock would have laid it down. You know,
yeah.
Like afterwards, it's just a matter of scale, right?
Yeah, they could do it, but then it would also be a matter of a giant 3D printer, canvas size that could do that kind of stuff. Which
like rich people, right? Am I right? Like
Chris Sagasak's got one going right now. He's churning out mayonnaise and Monets and whatever.
That's why we haven't heard from him. He's like, oh, geez, keep talking, guys. That's
is that our $4 million idea of the fourth, or who could keep track on this?
Yeah, that's not really a trade. You know, I don't think there's an idea there. I think that's just an easy extrapolation. I mean, I'm not a futurist, you know, but I can think things up, right? It's an ink printer, or it's, you know, a guy who looks like Brent Spiner painting a thing right in front of you while you ask your fiance to get married at the, you know, cool Star Trek restaurant, right? It's just a matter of scale. So that's not, I don't know. I'm not a genius on that point. I would use that sort of reality printing, you know, for good and not for evil. The first time somebody does that, like, I'm a giant Brent Spiner fan, you know, but too bad he died 150 years ago, right? I'm going to ask my girlfriend to marry me in front of it. And then the second she says yes, hey, honey, I just got this call from Lieutenant Colonel, what's his name, Robinson down the street. And he thinks there's a big application for that. And that guy instantly has to sell it to the military because his wife will stop, you know, I don't know.
Uh-oh, Larry, that sound means my angry wife has entered the studio.
On that note, yeah, I was leading it down a dark path. Sorry, Dantrons, missus.
The sliding glass door just opened, and there's an unhappy Mrs. Dantron right now, giving me an icy blue stare. So before we get out of here, I promised one video before we go. We'll be back. Are we coming back next Tuesday? Is this our last Friday officially, Larry?
Yes, that's my understanding. Yes.
Okay.
Now we have to make sure that John's missus is okay with that. Hopefully we can have him for an hour. Us and the entire internet, frankly, can have him just an hour, Jess. Please let us have him for an hour. Please.
Before we go, I've got, like I said, I promised.
Congratulations on getting married.
I promised a clip before we go. I got that clip that it's pretty funny. Like, I was going to play it as a serious Star Trek clip anyway. And then I heard that Alex Ross did the storyboards and design for this thing. So I'll take us out with that. We'll be back. We just decided it will be Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific. But where, Larry? Where, Larry?
On the internet.
My dad knows all about space vehicles. He directed me to the new Oldsmobile Silhouette. Its looks are stellar, and the interior is perfect for the enterprising family. The modular seats pull out easily. There's a place for everything. Compared to other forms of space travel, Silhouette is the logical choice. Right, Dad?
Eminently logical.
This is the new
Silhouette. Travel in space and style.